What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. We had a very valiant effort yesterday, the 26th of August. It is a brand new day today, the 27th. 21 hours, 4 minutes left in the day. Sitting here at $111.2 thousand, basically just below there. When I say we had a valiant effort, I mean for a moment there, I was somewhat convinced that we had the low, and I still might even be. We genuinely could have the low. This is sufficient enough. It does not have to go lower, but where we found resistance, well, on a closing basis there, but on a wicking basis, was right at two prior key support areas throughout this whole range. This range that we've really been established in since July 14th, right? So that's about a month's worth of consolidation. Two key areas that we found support at. We just found resistance there today. Or yesterday. Had to really clear my throat there. Man, it's still I don't know what's wrong with me. There we go. That should be good though. 111. I don't know. I wonder how my voice sounds now versus the first 30 seconds. Because is it just me or do I sound better? It sounded like muffled a second. Anyways, $111.1 thousand now. The reaction we're getting here is not necessarily the reaction you'd want to see. Now, I do think that because we have so much time left in this day, it's too preemptive to say that we're going lower or even that we're going higher yet. You know, maybe we do both. Maybe we go lower and we go higher. After all, if we look at these liquidations, there are a ton of longs that have been piled on in the past day just for Bitcoin alone, right? 2.56 billion in the past 24 hours, but there's more than that, guys. There's like something like almost $4 billion piled on between this level that we're at now and $107,000. If we go all the way down there, you best believe a lot of those longs will flip short, or a lot of people will start to add to short positions. We go over the past 7-day period here. The shorts outweigh the longs tremendously. But again, there's about, going down to just below 107K there. There's about, it says 3 billion, but I know there's more than $3 billion in longs across these three exchanges. And then here, 3.4 billion. There's more than that. There's more than that. It just doesn't account for the past 36 hours for whatever reason. But there are a lot of longs to liquidate. There absolutely are. I really wouldn't be surprised in the least if we continue to push lower. The lowest that I would see us going. Let's actually do this real quick, and we'll look at the short-term indicators. We absolutely will, but just hold on. From a low to a high, the lowest I'd expect us to go to would be about $104.8 thousand. Now, I don't think that we go down that low, but that's the lowest that I think we could go without jeopardizing the integrity of this bull market, right? If we go below there, guys, I don't even like the thought of going down there. That makes me clench up a little bit. But man, if we are to go lower, my expectation would probably be that we go just below 107K. Typically with the 1414, you don't find support right at it. You go just below it. So something just below 107K or right at 107K might make sense. 104.8K is very possible as well, though. And in which case we might fill a couple. I think there's a gap at like 103K. Oh no, we wouldn't. Maybe we would. See, the CME gaps you can see a lower price in the CME even if the Bitcoin price isn't there. It just depends because they're not fixed. But looking at this here on a 1 hour time frame, remember where we are with this fib, right? It's from this low from back on August 3rd to the high that we just had, the all-time high on August 14th there, man. What a wicked shakeout. It's definitely lower than I thought that it would go. But I did say it would be intense. It's intense, guys. It's definitely intense. It truly is. You look at, and I'm kind of curious here. What if we go on the coin market cap fear and greed index? Let's see. Let's see here. 47. Actually, I think we gained, right? We were at 46 yesterday, so we're at a 47 now. So actually, that's not bad. That's old news. Come on, CMC. That's old news, bro. 1 hour time frame here. Rejecting the overbought zone. That's not ideal. Rejecting the 100 level is not ideal either. That's a rejection candle if I've ever seen it, you guys. Not a lot of volume on the way up. Not a lot of volume on the way down, but there's a little bit more volume than we get over the weekend, of course. I don't know. This RSI isn't condemning. Let's look at some other indicators. I don't know why I keep going away. I got to pull them up all the time. The stochastics could cross here and you could bounce at the 50. That's actually a good thing. The MACD is, are we going to cross the 0 or are we going to reject here? Because this is good enough to start looking like a cross, but if you don't persist immediately, it could be a rejection. And if it's a rejection, undeniably we're going lower. I have a feeling we're going to know here in a very short amount of time. I have a theory about the price. Typically, going into the 6th hour of the day, whatever direction the price is heading to by that time, that's the direction it continues to head, going into like the 15th, 16th, maybe even the end of the day. It's 15th, 16th hour, if not the end of the day. So if we keep pushing down over the coming hours, I would think that we continue. That would be the answer there. But it's not a set in stone theory. It's just like maybe 70% of the time, 60% of the time, something like that. More than half the time is what I've noticed. Let's just go over that real quick. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's a new day right here, right? Here's a new day here. We go to the 6th hour, and you can see that you've been moving down into that 6th hour. So you continue to move down into the 15th hour. You're at your low. Then you reverse there, right? It's specifically that 15th hour, things can turn around. I've noticed for what, and that's, again, it's not always that. Maybe it's the 14th hour. Maybe it's the 17th hour. Maybe it's none of it at all. But I've noticed that. We look at this here at the 0. You start to move down. Boom. You're moving down. Here's the 6th hour right there. You're moving down into it. So you started to move lower. Where did you pivot? Here was the 19th hour. You pivoted there, and then you came back up a little bit. You're at the 0 here, going into the 6th hour here. You kept going down, and then you pivoted right here on the 13th hour. So again, around the 15th hour, just before, just below, but inevitably you still kept going lower. It's not an exact science. It's just something that I've noticed. Call it a superstition. It's probably the best way to think about it, is like a superstition. Anyways, we keep going lower. I would think that we'll keep going lower. This RSI with higher lows and higher highs like this, I wouldn't say is bad, right? Rejecting the overbought zone is not ideal, but with this, you could still come down and find support, so that's nice. Do that. That'd be great. I don't like the idea of going lower from here, though, because then again, that could mess with this MACD a little bit, but I suppose as long as both of these don't come back down and cross like that, we're okay. Like, you can kind of move sideways and even cross red a little bit, but just bounce immediately afterwards. I guess what I'm asking for is I'd want to see the opposite of what I was just saying. Move down. You might move down between now and the 6th hour of the day, but then move up afterwards. That's essentially what would need to happen. Stochastics would have to hold the 50 as well. There's hope, but I'm not holding out for hope right now, honestly. Hope implies doubt, right? From a low to a high, 382. Yeah, see, there is hope. 382 to the 236 and then up. So if we find support at $110.6 thousand, we might be saved. If we can get above this high and we get up to this golden ratio zone at 114K, 114.6K, I think that we're golden. Ultimately, I think what would be the ultimate deciding factor that more people could agree with, that we have found the low. Let's see here. Come on now. Getting to a high, to a low, 236 resistance there. I would want to see us, really at the end of the day, I guess what it comes to is we'd have to get above this high. We get above 117.4K, that's whenever things would start to look good again. That would confirm this low. Until then, we're up in the air as far as going lower, going higher goes, but I would think that we do persist lower. We probably do see targets down at about $107,000 just below there. From a low to a high here, 1272 at 107.8K, 1618 at 106.8K. That sounds about right, man. Sounds about right. We probably do go just below 107K. That's my thoughts. And then reverse from there, okay? We've got it's a young week right now. I want to look at the 4-hour indicators before we get into that, actually. That's not a good look, man. You don't want to reject the 50. There's a lot of time. 55 minutes, I guess it's not a lot of time. Oh, and you'd be rejecting here. Yeah, maybe that 1 hour doesn't have a chance, actually. We'll see. It depends, but I don't think it's looking good, you guys. It probably do go lower. I had a little bit of hope, but man, that harsh rejection off the 236 too, that's fierce. That is fierce. Let's look at this real quick. What about this one? Yeah. Still though, if you hold 110.6K as support, there's hope, and you get back above this high, there really is hope. I would say that would look good. But going out to the weekly time frame, there's a couple of talented technical analysts out there that I follow, and on X.com I've seen them point this out, talking about the MACD on the weekly time frame crossing red, right? And if we go over this throughout Bitcoin's really this whole existence of a bull cycle, only once was it not completely detrimental to the price, and even then, right? We cross red here. You still move down for a few weeks, right? Here, whenever you crossed red, it was right here on this week. You went down, you saw a big shakeout, big drop, flash crash, and then you moved up, right? Here, whenever we flashed red, well, red for months at that point, Here, whenever we flashed red, it was also red for months. That was the tariff events, right? The tariff scare. And then here, if we flash red this week, who knows what that brings, you guys? We've already started moving down, but that could mean. I mean, I'm not saying that this would put the bull market in jeopardy. I'm just saying if we flash red and we by the end of this week we close it red, that could be a problem. Now, I'm going to contest that real quick, okay? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm telling you the bad stuff before the good stuff because that's just how I like to hear it personally. People like the good news first sometimes, but I like the bad news first with the good news. The good news is the week has not closed yet. We have about 5 days left in the week. The good news is Bitcoin can move down and up really, really fast. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen plenty of times over the past 3 weeks. Okay, it can do a lot in a very short amount of time. We're only down about 2% this week. Okay, again, this is the good news stuff. Okay, we're going to the open of this week. If we do go down to about 100 and let's say 104.8k, that's a 7% drop overall. Bitcoin, I think, would at least need 2 days to recover. So as long and probably not the weekend days. So we'd have to find our low tomorrow if we got that low. If Bitcoin goes where I think it's going to go, just below 107k, let's try and get it right on the money there. You know, we'd see about a 6% drop overall. We could bounce really quick. If we get this done with today, Wednesday, then we'd have Thursday, Friday to come back up before the week is over, right? Saturday, Sunday still before the week is over as well, but you know, we don't move too much over the weekend. The goal that I'm trying to imply here is if this week can at least come back and close green, then I think we're absolved of this crossing red, right? We're absolved of it crossing red. That doesn't mean that next week can't cross red, right? We'd have more work to do. We're not going to cross green or anything like that. We just probably postpone it for another week. So we'd have some work. We'd at least see another week to live before we're condemned to death here with the red cross. Just because we cross red doesn't mean that it's bad, doesn't mean we have weeks or months of consolidation to go, doesn't mean it's the end of the bull cycle, but that's what it's meant every other time, except for being the end of the bull cycle stuff, right? That's what it's meant every other time, it was negative. So a lot of people are touting that this is the key, this is what's telling them that we're going to go lower. But the thing that I'd like to remind you guys, if you're hearing this out there, if you're hearing people mention this MACD cross on a weekly time frame to the downside, wait till the week is closed before you get too overzealous, okay? 4 days, 21 hours left. If this is the case, well, you'll have plenty of time to think about it, right? You'll have plenty of time. If you want to make your move, then you can. But I think it's the best decision is probably just to hold. The stochastics here are at the 50, and bouncing off the 50 is a really good look. Anytime, and if we look at this too, here's another thing I almost overlooked this. If we look at this here, we've gotten close to crossing here, and then we moved up. We got close to crossing here, then we moved up. We literally kissed right here, and then we moved up, right? Literally, like, right, let me get to that. That was this consolidation phase. And you best believe at the base of this weekly candle here, right here, we were crossed. We were crossed red. Absolutely we were right here. But then we came all the way back up and closed the week green, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm saying here. Here on this red candle, maybe not. That wasn't that big of a wick, right? If we keep going here, let's just see. You know, we kissed right here. Here we also kissed, or I guess not. It looked like we did, but we got close, but maybe not as close as this. All I'm trying to say is we've had moments in this cycle where it looked like we were getting close to that red cross, and hell, you know, even at the base of these candles, maybe we had that, but then we came back up by the end of the week and everything was saved. So 4 days, 21 hours left. Let's just wait and see how that goes. Don't buy into the bearish media until we're absolutely certain. I'm not convinced that we're going below 104.8K, but I'm not convinced that we really go too much below 107K, maybe just barely below there. And then from there, we should, like a rocket ship, fire through the stratosphere to new all-time highs. It should be a very fast pace. Should be. Keywords, should be. I'm talking very literally here, okay? If we move down, we should get a very fast reaction. If we move down and we dilly-dally, that could be problematic. We need a fast reaction. We need a good, healthy reaction, right? Otherwise, again, that could be problematic because anything shy of that, if we're just hanging out down here, that MACD will cross red. Even without, we could close next week green if we close maybe like barely green, you know, and it would still flip red, like here, right? Here you had a week where it was red, a week where it was neutral. That week here it was green, and you were still building bearish momentum, right? You don't need a red week to build bearish momentum, but I'm spending too much time talking about this. I just wanted to go over that real quick. Let's go over the daily time frame, okay? Daily time frame. Daily RSI still looks good. We're finding support in areas that we've been finding support, but we might go a little bit lower here. That's okay. Stochastics don't really look that good if we're being honest. And the MACD, unfortunately, does look like it's crossing below the zero, so that's not good either. We really do need a rapid turnaround here, okay? A little bit more to the downside, a little bit more trials and tribulations, whatever the proper word is, and then a bounce. And more than anything, I think what we need is capitulation. We need to stop longing the bottom, right? You long the bottom, you're longing it all the way down. We're going to keep going down, right? I mean, we literally have $2.5 billion in the past 24 hours in longs, and we're at the lows of this range, right? How are we seeing the lows? Every single day we've seen a lower low for the past 3 days now. And every single one of those days, for the majority of the day at least, the longs have eclipsed the shorts, right? Like, that's not, people are anticipating this high so much that it might not happen. And I know a lot of people, myself included, say that the majority of people are bearish right now. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. We're looking at the traders here. It seems as though the majority of people are bullish. Maybe the majority of people without money are bearish, but the people with money, they're bullish, and that is problematic. We need to stop this. We need the shorts to be piled on. We need to keep moving up and the shorts keep piling on. That's what generates upward price action. It's not that alone, but that's intimidating. That's one of the main things that's making me think, hold up now. And we do have a lot of shorts. And, again, there's a bit of sunlight at the end of this tunnel. There are a lot of shorts, over $16 billion of shorts in the past month piled on. I highly doubt that we continue to drop with this, but as long as there's longs, we will continue to drop. People have to stop trying to time the bottom. They have to let it grow and then long the top, get shaken out there, and then let it grow again. I got nothing else to say. I'm done talking. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. At the moment, we're thinking it goes down to about $104.8 to $107,000. I'm more expecting that we find support around about 106.7K to 107K itself. And then from there, we should have a very massive eruptive rally between now and the end of this month. If not, we're going to have a lot of talking to do. Okay. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.